You've got questions, and we've got answers. Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, answering the questions that new leaders ask us. Our goal is to help all leaders become more successful, competent, and confident. Now, in this episode, we're talking about reprimanding and how to make reprimanding actually work. Are you ready? Let's get started. So here's the question that we received. It goes like this: how can I reprimand people without offending them? This is a wise question, but I think the framing of it is off by just a bit. And here's what I mean. I don't think the goal here should be to not offend people. If we're worried about offending people, then we may hold back, or we may not share something, or we may sugarcoat it in some way. That's not what we want to be doing. But here's the problem. When we reprimand someone, when people feel offended, they get defensive. And once the defensive filter comes up, the message doesn't get received, or isn't heard, or isn't acted on. So it's a great question in that we don't want the defensive filter to come up. I don't think it's really about offense, however. Now, I'm not saying that we should try to offend people, and certainly it's my goal not to offend people, but I don't want that to get in the way of the message. The real point here is, how do I make sure that my message is clear and my message gets through? Given that, the word reprimand in the question leads to a really great chance for us to explore a bit. So let's think about the word reprimand, because I think that's where the defensiveness stems from. Let's look at a couple definitions of the word reprimand. The first is the noun definition, or that a reprimand is a thing, right? And so here it is. The definition is a severe reproof or rebuke, especially a formal one, by a person in authority. That person is you. You are the boss. You're the person in authority, right? Now, you may not use the words reproof or rebuke in normal conversation, but you sort of know this doesn't necessarily going to go so well, right? Well, what about the verb? What about the doing of it? Here's that definition. It's to reprove or rebuke severely, especially in a formal way. Written out on a thing, in a meeting, come in my office, we need to talk. All that stuff, it's not going to work. Do you see the defense mechanisms coming up? And again, reprove and rebuke are not words we use necessarily a lot. So let's get some synonyms for reprimand to maybe help think this through a little bit further. Okay, here are some synonyms for the noun: oral punishment, admonition, censure, blame. Feeling okay, are you? How about some verb synonyms? The actions, again, blame, scold, berate, call on the carpet. Now, I'm guessing that you've had those feelings, that you felt that that's been done to you, that you've been called on the carpet, you've been thrown under the bus, you've been berated. When you've felt that, are you immediately open to hear what you ought to do differently next time? Probably not so much, right? Is that what we want? No. Do we want different behavior? Yes. Do we want people to be safe, or to be doing things legally, or doing things ethically, or whatever we're reprimanding about next time? Yes. So how do we get what we want? How do I answer the question? How do I reprimand without offending? Well, it's not reprimanding at all. It's three things, really. The first thing is do it sooner. A lot of times we get to reprimand in our own mind because we are now fed up with it. This has been going on too long, and our own emotional dam has burst, and so they're going to get it, and they get called on. They feel like they've been called on the carpet, because let's be serious, maybe that's exactly what you're doing. Feels good to have done it. We wait too long. But the two other things, and the big ones that you can do, even if you have waited too long, is number one, make it a conversation. The filter won't go up near as much if we're having a conversation about what happened. Do you hear in all those words, scold, berate, admonish, blame? It's all one way. I'm doing the talking, and listen, by gosh, you better listen. That's not what we want. So it needs to be a true conversation. And the second thing is the reprimand, the admonition, the blame is all about what's already happened. It's gone. So if we turn this into more of a solution-based conversation, so it's a conversation where we're both talking about it. You did something, Here's what I'm concerned about. Here's what here's what the situation is and why it's a problem. And now what do we do next time? If we can flip it and make at least half of it about what we do next time to avoid this behavior, to avoid this outcome, we got a much better shot. People will occasionally get offended. Defenses will go up. That shouldn't be our goal. Our goal should be to identify behavior and results that are incorrect and get them fixed for the next time, because the results already happened. What we want to do is make it better the next time. All of this to summarize with today's tweet. We can be clear about behavior without reprimand. Reprimand creates boundaries more often than behavior change. So I hope that this video has helped you today, whether this was your question coming in or not. I hope you got something of value here. And if you did, I hope you'll share it with others, whether that's other people in your role or other people in your organization that could use this tip. And know that we're doing these on an ongoing basis. And if I'm going to answer questions, I have to have questions. So if you've got one, please share it below or send us an email directly. But just share it below. We're watching. We'll take those questions and we'll shoot future episodes based on them. Thanks so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.